This happened when I was 22 and working part-time at a small 24-hour gym while finishing college. It wasn't a big commercial chain, just a neighborhood fitness center with a handful of machines, a weight area, and 2 locker rooms. Most nights I worked the late shift alone, from 11 p.m. until around 5 a.m. I was the only employee in the building. Usually that wasn't a problem, because after midnight the gym was almost always empty. Occasionally 1 or 2 regulars would come in for a late workout, but most of the time I spent the night cleaning equipment and watching the security monitors. One Tuesday night around 1:40 a.m. I was sitting behind the front desk scrolling through my phone when the door opened. A man walked in. I didn't recognize him, which wasn't unusual. People from nearby apartments sometimes came in late to work out. He looked to be in his late 30s, wearing a gray hoodie and sweatpants. He didn't check in at the desk. He just walked straight past me toward the locker rooms. "Hey," I called out. "You need to scan your membership." He didn't respond. I assumed he hadn't heard me, so I got up and walked toward the locker room hallway. "Sir," I said again. No answer. The locker room door slowly swung shut behind him. I shrugged it off. Maybe he was just changing before scanning in. About 5 minutes later, I noticed something strange. The gym floor was still empty. Usually, if someone comes in that late, they go straight to the cardio machines or weight area. But there was no one there. I checked the locker room hallway. The door was closed. "Sir," I called again. No answer. I pushed the locker room door open. The lights were on, but the room was empty. No one at the sinks. No one at the lockers. No one in the showers. I checked every stall, just to be sure. Nothing. The back exit door was still locked from the inside. There was no way he had left. I went back to the front desk, feeling uneasy. Then I checked the security cameras. The first camera showed the front entrance, the man walking inside. The next camera showed the hallway leading to the locker room. He walked down the hallway and entered. Then the footage stopped. Not frozen, just nothing. The screen went black for about 3 seconds. Then the camera returned. The hallway was empty. I rewound the footage. Same thing every time. The man walks into the locker room. The camera cuts. Out for 3 seconds. Then he's gone. I leaned back in my chair, trying to convince myself it was just a camera glitch. Then I heard something from the gym floor. The sound of weights clanking. I looked up immediately. Someone was in the squat rack. The same man. He was lifting a loaded barbell slowly up and down. I hadn't heard him come out of the locker room. I hadn't seen him walk past the desk, but there he was. I walked out onto the floor. "Hey man," I said, "you still need to scan in." He didn't answer, just kept lifting. Up, down, up, down. Something about the movement felt strange. His form never changed. His breathing never changed. Just perfectly steady repetitions. "Sir," I said again. He racked the bar. Then he slowly turned his head toward me. His eyes looked dull and unfocused. "What time is it?" he asked. I glanced at the clock on the wall. 1:53. He nodded slowly. Then he stepped away from the rack and walked toward the locker room again. I watched him disappear through the door. This time I followed immediately. The locker room was empty. Again. No one there. No sound. Nothing. My heart was pounding now. I went straight back to the cameras. The footage showed something even stranger. The man had never left the locker room. The camera glitch happened again. 3 seconds of black screen. Then the hallway was empty. But the gym floor camera clearly showed him lifting weights during that same time. The next morning, when the day manager came in, I told him everything. He looked uneasy when I described the guy. "Gray hoodie?" he asked. "Tall, thin build." I nodded. He sighed. "You're not the first person to report that." "What do you mean?" He walked me over to the squat rack. "About 3 years ago," he said quietly, "a guy collapsed here while lifting. I stared at the rack." "Heart attack?" The manager nodded. "They tried to save him, but he died before the ambulance arrived." I felt a chill run down my spine. "What time did it happen?" The manager checked something on his phone. Then he looked back at me. 1:53 a.m. Exactly the time he asked me for.